Oh boy.
You've seen a bunch of dancing at night, and she touches the stones and transfers back in the 1600s. She meets up with someone, marries him, and then comes back, goes back. It's incredible. If you get a chance. Yeah, so that goes music and that's yeah. I mean,
Well, we saw them walking the street, and they were.
Which one? The red one. Yeah. This last one, you like this season? Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah. But it's just a lot of cursing. Yeah. Did you? I was actually reading something about this. You know how they took over Molly?
Yeah. NTSB guys, Ralph Hicks. H-I-C-K-S. Stations.
We ready? Everybody ready? Everybody
Come on
good?
up, right up to the. There you go.
Good afternoon. My name is Kurt Alexander. I'm the mayor of the city of Elizabethton. I would like to welcome each of you all here today. I hate the circumstances with which you're here. However, the circumstances could have been much worse, as you know, and we're very appreciative of that. Just want to first of all thank everyone that's been involved in this investigation or this, hopefully the fire that was put out. Our police department, fire department, rescue squad, emergency services, highway patrol, Tennessee Department of Transportation. It is just unbelievable over the last couple of days how everyone has come together and worked so hard to make this such a successful mission that we've almost accomplished here. We're also pleased to have the FAA and the NTSB here as well, which they'll be speaking here in just a minute. I just wanted to come up for a couple minutes and introduce myself, welcome you, and just thank everyone that's been involved. I think I almost left off Mr. Dan Cogan, our airport manager, who's done a tremendous job organizing all of this over the last couple of days and probably a sleepless night last night. So, like I said, we're thankful you're here. We hate the circumstances, but we're very appreciative that it was not much worse than it was. At this time, I would like to turn it over to the NTSB, sir.
Thank you very much. I'm Ralph Hicks, a senior investigator with the NTSB. I'm out of Atlanta, Georgia. We put together a team here today to start the initial investigation of this accident that occurred yesterday about 3:40 p.m. The flight originated in Statesville, North Carolina, about 20 minutes prior to the accident, so it was a very short flight. Weather conditions at the time were visual flight rules conditions, good weather basically with calm winds. We were able to obtain surveillance video from buildings around the area that include footage of the accident happening, and we were able to observe those footages this morning. It showed us quite a bit. The airplane basically bounced at least twice before coming down hard on the right main landing gear, and you can actually see the right main landing gears collapsing on the video. The airplane continued down the runway off to the end through a fence, and it came to a stop behind me here on Highway 91. The aircraft itself is a Cessna Citation Latitude, a 680, two cockpit seats for the pilots and 9 passenger seats for 11 total capacity. It has a Pratt & Whitney Canada 306 turbofan, 2 turbofan engines built in 2015, registered to JRM Air LLC. Our process is we're going to be on scene for 2 or 3 days documenting the perishable evidence at the site, and then we're going to start going into the cockpit, into the fuselage, starting to cut the airplane up and document all the flight controls, the engine controls, taking a look at all the systems very methodically. This airplane was equipped with a cockpit voice recorder. That recorder will be sent to our headquarters in Washington, D.C. for download probably next week. It did not have a flight data recorder. However, there were avionics on board that recorded some flight data that's going to be very useful to us, and we're going through that right now. Like I said, there were 2 pilots on board. Both were professionally trained pilots. We have spoken to both pilots today, and the information that they provided us is very consistent with the video. The airport itself, the runway is about 4,500 feet long. The airplane was capable of landing at this runway. There's no operating control tower here. It's not equipped with one, so the pilots basically call on their radio frequency and see and avoid procedures for the airport. We were able to walk the runway completely from one end to the wreckage site. We're able to find skid marks and tire track marks that are consistent with this airplane. So we recorded those, and we found a few pieces of small debris that were along the runway as well. We're going to be releasing a preliminary report in about 7 days, and that will be on our website at ntsb.gov. It will give basic factual information. We don't draw any conclusions at this time. This is the fact-finding phase of the investigation only. So I won't be entertaining any questions about calls or any speculation. Any questions?
Steve King, WXIX News. Are you going to be making the surveillance footage available to the public?
It will eventually be made available to the public, but for right now, we're using it for our investigation purposes, and we need to keep it inside the investigation team.
You said the plane.
We don't know right now. It's one of the things we're going to be getting into. We're going to be looking at the systems in great detail, and also going through the information provided by the pilots, and also the information that's on our recorders. Excuse me? Yes, they were. Yes, sir.
When it fell, how much in the video that you saw did it go up and then come back down?
You can visually see the airplane balloon up and come back down. Exactly how high it went, we're going to be using our flight data information that we have from the avionics to tell us that, but we can't tell exactly from the video right now.
Hard landing, though, would you say?
A firm landing. It was described as firm.
Mr. Hicks, can you tell us about where on the runway, how far down the runway the plane actually touched down?
We can't tell that right now. There's no definite touchdown marks on the runway made by this airplane. So we're going to go back to our data that we're going over right now.
Thank you.
How busy is this highway normally? Did it come close to hitting any oncoming traffic?
I'm not aware. I don't know. I think it's a fairly well-used highway, though. The aircraft actually went down into the ditch and came back up before it came to rest. That's speculation. I can't really say that, but we're very happy to be here today talking to them as survivors.
Have you interviewed already the Earnhardt family?
Yes, we have. And their comments were consistent with the video. That's all I can say.
You can't say what how they described it.
Do you know how long this will be sitting in the road like this?
Probably about 2 days. We have a crew from Griffin, Georgia that's going to disassemble the airplane, take it to another facility where we can do a more detailed layout and examination. And until that takes place, we go through it methodically, system by system, to make sure that we don't corrupt any evidence along the way. So we have a very systematic approach to doing that. But it'll probably take a couple of days. And then once it goes down to Griffin, we'll reconvene our group and go through it again in greater detail.
How long did the plane come to a stop before it was fully engulfed?
The accident site's about 1,000 feet past the end of the runway.
So are you talking about seconds here? That
a few seconds.
And everybody on
I
board.
don't have the exact number, but just a few seconds.
Right. How quickly were
quick.
people on board able to evacuate the airplane? Just a few seconds right before?
They were able to evacuate before the fire ensued.
Can you say when the fire started?
I can't say that for exactly. We're going to go over video and take a look at that too.
Can you tell us if all the passengers, not just passengers, were they properly strapped in?
As far as we know, they were, yes.
How were they able to escape from the plane so quickly?
They were able to use their procedures and use the doors on the aircraft to get out.
Are we talking like just mere less than a minute or seconds before they got out?
A matter of 1 or 2 minutes, very quickly.
Was it on fire before it landed, or did the fire start after landing?
It appears that the fire was a post-crash fire.
You said they communicate via radio here. Was there any sort of radio about any sort of issues with the plane or the firm landing?
No, we're not hearing of any communications that indicate any kind of problem. I'll take one. I'll take one more question.
We've seen how far down the runway did it actually, the initial touchdown? Was it very close to the end? I mean, you said you found some debris. Did it appear like it was beyond what normally is expected with a plane of that size?
Yeah, we don't see any indications that the initial touchdown was too long, based on the video. But we are going to look at the flight data information and nail that down closer.
And one point of correction: the plane, according to the video that we have, was on fire before they got out. Just letting you know.
Thank you.
Sir, for details'
One
sake,
more.
we've seen planes land this way. Obviously, Dale's plane was coming this way. Is that normal?
The pilots can choose the direction of landing. It's not a towered airport, so based on the wind information, it was calm winds. They could pick the direction. That's all I'm going to take. Thank you.
Any questions for the city?
Do you know when this road will reopen to traffic?
As soon as they can remove the airplane within a couple days, and we hope to have some of these lanes open prior to that, having a north and south lane on this side, I believe, Chief. If I'm correct, maybe north and south in these two lanes.
Yes, that's correct. We're waiting on some structural assessments of the roadway from TDOT, and they're performing them at this time. So when that's determined that the roadway's safe, and when we're notified by the removal company, we'll be able to regain some traffic back on the road.
I'm not going to feed over.
Daniela also, they've got the 911 call. They want me to go to the sheriff's office and pay all that to the CD. If you want to sit right in the truck, I can start buzzing.
Let's do that.
That would be a question for Dan Cogan, who's our airport manager. I'm not sure the answer to that
I'll go
question.
take care of that stuff and see what I can.
Let's go.
I'm not aware. I think it's just the grace of the good Lord that a vehicle didn't get struck by the plane. It's a very heavily trafficked roadway, so
There was a lot of things, as bad as this accident was, there's a lot of good things that happened. One being that everyone walked away. The second being at 3:40 in the afternoon, after school had just let out a couple miles up the road, there were no cars involved in this accident. So there's just a lot of good things that happened that came out of this. We're just happy everyone walked away, and no one on the ground was injured as well. I am not sure if there was any.
I'm not aware of that information. I'm sorry.
Can you explain what the Department of Transportation is doing? It looks like they're assessing what was going under the road.
They are. The fuel from the aircraft resulting in the crash was also burning in the drainage system underneath the roadway. So they're here to assess the damage to make sure that the road structure underneath will be able to handle the traffic when we're able to open the roadway.
Anything else?